everyone, welcome to the Park Mapping Podcast. I'm Bruce.
And I'm Harbor.
And today we are going to just go over some Disney World summer survival tips and tricks and just how to survive Disney in the summer.
Yeah, because if you've never been to Central Florida in the summer, it's really hot. I don't know how else to say, just it's hotter than you can imagine.
Brutal might be a correct word. I don't know.
And it's funny because I grew up there and I'm still like, it's the worst. You know,
it is.
It's so terrible.
Well, and it's just a concrete jungle too, so it's just the heat. I don't know. It's a different beast, so we just want to make sure that everyone's prepared before they go.
That's right.
So.
And and we'll talk about it too. There's a lot of stuff that Disney's doing to kind of get people to come in the summer, and there are some special events. There's things opening this summer, so we'll get into all of that. So. Bruce, tell me about. So you guys are actually going to go in about a week.
Yeah, so it is Sunday right now. We leave in like 6 days, so we leave Saturday, and then so with the new Lightning Lane experience, you can do 7 days before you go. You can start planning your Lightning Lanes. Now we had an alarm set early this morning so that we could wake up and get it done. The alarm went off. I rolled over. I looked at my wife. I was like, "What is that alarm for?" She goes, "I don't know," and turned it off. Couple hours later, we woke up. She said, "Oh man, we messed up. We slept through the Lightning Lane." So we started planning it. We got a lot of what we wanted to, but for the big day. So my daughter's birthday is that Friday, and the earliest that we could get like Rock and Roller Coaster was like late afternoon or something like. I don't know. A couple of the Lightning Lanes got messed up, so it was kind of a debacle. So hot tip. Set your alarm and make sure you actually follow that.
Set a couple of alarms.
Yeah, because it goes by. So like the earlier that you can get it, the better. Because like let's say you get a 9 a.m. ride time. Well, once you check into that, you can go ahead and start planning like another one. I don't know how it used to work too. There was like a twofold thing. It was like when you checked into your first one, you could automatically start planning your next one. But there's also kind of a time limit. So I'm curious to see how this new one works. But we kind of shot ourselves in the foot because I'm pretty sure we won't be able to schedule another one until we check into our first one that evening.
But your first one's like that, not till later that night. Oh wow, yeah. But man, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it kind of sucked. The other thing that I'm not a huge fan of, and I've never really been a fan of this, is that it's got the tiered system.
Yeah,
and obviously they picked the best rides and put them in tier 1, and you can only pick one. So this morning it was, do we want to go on Tiana, which we haven't been on. We haven't been on Bayou Adventure, and obviously Big Thunder's refurbishment.
Yeah. We
chose Big Thunder. So we'll see how that goes.
I saw the ones you guys picked, and I was like, you still got a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Like Big Thunder and Rock and Roller Coaster. So those are like good tier 1s. But I guess if you're not starting them till later, now you can probably go back and try to modify some of those tier 2s. Yeah. Like try to get I know that's kind of one of the tricks is like, having a burner ride is what they say. Is like picking that one for as early as possible.
Well, and I kind of did that with Pirates. Pirates is my favorite ride, but we were looking at wait times earlier. It was like a 20-minute wait. Yeah. I'm like, 20 minutes is nothing waiting for a Disney ride. Yeah. Even some of the other rides, like I don't think I saw anything over like 50 minutes, which actually is not that bad for.
It's pretty impressive
for it's early summer, but and it's a Sunday, but hey, wait times weren't that bad. But we'll see. I'll report back. We got a good episode after I get back. We'll kind of touch on it and.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of we've been hearing all this new stuff that's been going on at the parks. It'll be cool to you have your own experience with your family. We can talk about it. It'll be awesome. So looking forward to that. Let's just go ahead and dive into State of the Parks here. And kind of the first thing we're starting with is this week. And, this is we record and then we have a few days before we release it. But this week, so many new things have opened all across Disney World. So, and even just between the last time we did an episode to today, I mean, here's just everything that's opened. We'll start with at Hollywood Studios, the Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run, the new Mando and Grogu mission that opened on May 22nd. That was actually the same day the Mandalorian and Grogu movie came out, so they kind of coincided with that. And again, that's an update on new mission, involves the Mandalorian and Grogu. If you're in the engineer seat, you get to pick The first destination is Tatooine, and then you get to pick one of 3 destinations. So if you're in the engineer seat, you actually get to decide where you go. And I think it's Endor, Coruscant, and Bespin, like Cloud City.
Okay.
And then the other engineer seat gets to interact with Grogu. It's one of the things I haven't looked at yet, but there's some kind of interaction with Grogu you get to do. So that's kind of cool.
Hopefully it's more than just they're all just button presses.
Right.
I don't know, but
it's just a button pressing.
It's like,
right.
he's like, press it now.
Yeah. But the fact that you get to pick where you get to go, I think is probably,
that's pretty awesome.
Makes it a little bit more of a seat that you don't mind getting.
Mm-hmm.
Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets opens May 26th. So by the time this comes out, it'll be open.
So have you watched any of the POVs?
Yeah, I've watched a few.
So I've watched a couple, and they're all like, it's so much better now. Now, when I watch it, it is the exact same ride, just with like Beaker is splattered on not splattered,
yeah.
but he's like stuck on like the overpass sign and stuff like this. So they added some Muppet elements, but it is the same ride. So I couldn't hear the music in the POVs either.
It's basically the same ride. They have added some of the things. So, when you on the ride, there's like some flats that are, with black light on them. Mm-hmm. That, before it was kind of just stuff around LA and Hollywood, these like paintings of them. So a lot of those are still there, but they've added some things too. I know that there's like a sign for Pizza Rizzo.
Yeah.
There's something with Miss Piggy in there. So there's a couple different, they've Muppetized it a little bit, but it's basically the same ride. And I've heard people say, like, if you love Rock and Roller Coaster, it's still the same ride, so you're good. If you love the Muppets, it's very Muppets. So, and I think like the pre-show looks awesome to me.
I'm excited about the pre-show. I just have to convince my daughter to ride it. So
that's right.
Looking at you right now. I know you're watching this.
Oh man, yeah. She was like, no, absolutely not. Like, I was trying to tell her, I was like, it's not, because she's been on Tron, right?
Yeah.
I was like, it's not much worse than Tron.
Well, and you know how I feel about Guardians of the Galaxy. I said, if I can ride Guardians of the Galaxy with my weak stomach, you can do but hey, no pressure. I love you, but let's try. Okay.
All right. And then also, there's a lot of stuff that opened at Hollywood Studios this weekend. The former animation courtyard where the Arch used to be, which we talked about exhaustively the last 2 episodes, has reopened as the Walt Disney Studios. And it looks, it's very similar to how the actual animation studio in Burbank looks. But the cool things they've added is like, there's, how in like Magic Kingdom, you've got the hub grass. Mm-hmm. There's like a grassy area with some trees and shade. There's statues of animated characters all around the area. So it just seems like a much more inviting place. And kind of a good refresh. Whereas before it was just like, it looked like a parking lot basically in front of this building when it was Star Wars Launch Bay, and like nobody ever really went in there. Yeah. So it seems just like a good refresh of the space. And then the Disney Junior show that is right there in the courtyard is reopening as well this weekend as Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live. So if you have very young kids, toddler age, that might be something you'd be interested in.
We've done it quite a few times.
Yeah. I haven't. My kids now are past that age. I think even the first time we went, they weren't at that age. But all right, and then similarly at Animal Kingdom, you've got Bluey's Wild World opening. This is the first. Well, they opened one in Disneyland. They have a show in Disneyland that opened, I think, about a month ago. But this is the first time in Disney World that you're going to be able to meet the Bluey characters, see this show that has the Bluey characters in it. Now, this is a little bit tricky because this is at the conservation station at Animal Kingdom, so you have to ride the Wildlife Express train to get there. And this is actually going to open with a virtual queue. So we all thought they've gotten rid of virtual queues, awesome, but they've brought it back. And I think obviously the reason why is like the fact that you have to do this train ride first to get there.
Yeah, it would be it'd be crazy.
So just be prepared that if you're headed to Animal Kingdom and that's something that you want to do with your family, you're unfortunately probably going to have to do that. Wake up at 7 a.m., get on the virtual queue, try to get that spot. And I imagine, honestly, I haven't looked too much into this, but I know that in the past, the way it's worked, there's the 7 a.m. drop, and then there's another one at 1 p.m. Usually the one at 1, you have to actually be in the park to get it. But just a heads up on that.
Did they get rid of the goats?
I think the goats are gone for now, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We rarely went over there.
Yeah, I've never been over there.
Yeah, the Rafiki's Planet Watch and all that stuff. We went over there. It was kind of cool, but again, it was like a one and done thing. The last time we went, there was a couple of activities in there, so I'm curious to see if it's going to be similar. But they did have like more animators. They were drawing like animal characters and things like that. Yeah, so, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, that basically is going to move back to Hollywood Studios when Magic of Disney Animation opens. The animation like academy. Instead of the petting zoo, they're going to have live like Australian animals. So
that's awesome.
Kangaroos, koalas, things like that.
I never understood the goats. There were so many goats. But hey,
I mean, I think it's an upgrade, like because you can kind of go to any petting zoo and see goats, right?
Right. No, I'm over the goats. They can take them.
All right. No more goats.
No more goats.
Only on Thunder Mountain can we accept goats.
Yeah, right, animatronics.
That's right. Okay, this one is kind of a bummer. If you liked this show, so the Magic Kingdom opening show is called Let the Magic Begin. This is the show that would happen in front of the castle right when the park opened. So if you've ever been there for rope drop, and you have Mickey and Minnie come out and kind of welcome everybody, and then there's other characters as well. Kind of depends on the day, but that has, as far as we know, has shut down, and there's no replacement for it. So right now they're just doing the audio from the show, but the characters aren't actually out there, and it was on hiatus, I guess, starting I think in January when they started the castle repainting. Mm-hmm. So we haven't talked about it on this show, but the castle now has gone from that 50th anniversary pink. It's basically all back to its original white and blue colors, and so they were doing a lot of there was cranes out by the castle in the morning and stuff. So they had postponed that show, but now it seems like it's not going to come back. So I don't know, a little disappointing. I've seen it one time, and for me, it's not something that I'm like, oh, I really want to see the show because if I'm there at rope drop, I just am trying to get on rides. But right. I imagine for other people, it's one of those things. It's a nice little detail, a little touch to like make the day a little bit better. Yeah. So a little disappointing. I don't know if you ever something that you guys stopped and watched or anything.
Maybe once. I don't know. I mean, we've only rope dropped Disney maybe or Magic Kingdom like twice. Yeah. And got there like super early. I don't know. We haven't really watched it. Okay. I don't know. Did they have a couple different shows or is it just like the one? Like they
have like the, what is it called? They have like the friendship fair shows that kind of happen throughout the day. Mm-hmm. They're usually like maybe 2 or 3 times a day. But there was always one at the beginning. And I think before this, it used to be at the train station out of the front. Okay. But now they've moved it over to the castle stage. But yeah, I guess it's... my guess is it's just budget is why it's not coming back. Would be my guess. So, all right, and then last thing, if you're a Florida resident, I'm just highlighting this because I think this is a good deal. If you're wanting to go to, and it fits into what we're talking about today. If you're wanting to go to Disney World in the summer, there is a Florida resident special ticket out. This is good between May 17th and October 3rd. And these are basically starting at, you can get up to $65 a day. Or I'm sorry, a 4-park ticket starts at $65 a day. 3-day ticket starts at $80 a day. 2 days, $110. So if you are planning to go to Disney World at all at some point this summer and you're a Florida resident, this is honestly the best deal. The only drawback is you have to make a park reservation, kind of like how the annual passes. If you're an annual pass holder, you have to make a park reservation, but honestly, not that big of a deal. But yeah, these are good deals because if you're looking at a 4 days for $260,
well, I mean for $40 more, you get two days. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no brainer.
It's a good deal for sure. And the cool thing about it is because it's not date based. let's say you want to go one weekend and you spend one day at the park, and then you want to come back in a month from now, you have those other days left on your ticket, so you don't have to use them like consecutively.
Yeah.
So yeah, just something that if you're a Florida resident looking for kind of a cheap way to get a park day is probably the best deal. So, and actually when I went last January and February, they had it. My ticket was also like a similar deal like this, and it saved me like $100 on 3 days. So
yeah, I mean at that point though, depending on if you're a Florida resident, if you live close, if you like to go as much as we used to, that is very close to the base, the lower tiered Florida resident.
Yeah.
Season pass. Like I think we're going to get the season pass. I think it's like a little over $400 per person, but they're weekdays only. So that's the only caveat to it. For this, it's like $259, 4 days. You can go weekdays, weekends. You can split it up if you want with I know it used to be the Pixie. I don't know if it's still the Pixie Pass.
It's
I can't
Pixie
remember.
Pass, yeah.
Yeah, it's Monday through Friday only, and a lot of blackouts, but we never really had a problem with it.
Yeah, but that is the nice thing. If you were considering like getting like honestly, like for like families like where we live or we're a few hours away, you're considering getting an annual pass. Honestly, this might be a better way to go for it because you're, spending, if you're only doing 4 days, between 2 and 4 days, you're kind of limited there. And then the other thing is there aren't blackout dates for this. Yeah. So like if you want to, I know that almost all the passes are blacked out for 4th of July. I think the first 2 tiers are blacked out during 4th of July. So if you're wanting to go to 4th of July, like that honestly would be a better deal. Well,
another cool, just very quick tip. Let's say you did this, you paid the $259, you went for your 4 days. You have, I think, 30 days that you can actually, like that $259 that you spent on those tickets, you can actually roll that into the cost of a season pass.
I think that it is actually, I think you have to do it before your last,
before
the end of your last day.
Oh, well.
We did that, we did something similar like a couple years ago.
Okay.
And it was like, I remember that we were in our, we were like at the resort and it was like 11:30. We're like, are we going to do it or not? We got to make a decision right now. So,
hey, it's not bad if you decide that you were like, you had so much fun and you want to get an annual pass, you can, you don't have to pay additional. So that's cool.
All right, cool. So let's get into our main topic. And this is going to be a lot easy. Last 2 episodes, we really talked about a lot of like park history and getting into kind of the nitty gritty of how, we were talking about Hollywood Studios, how the parks developed and all that. So this is going to be a little bit easier. We're just going to talk about, everything you need to know about going to Disney World in the summertime, whether that's, what's going on, what are the crowds like, what are the prices like, and then really honestly surviving the weather because Florida summers are super hot. Yeah. It's super rainy. And if you're not prepared, I mean, honestly, you can end up in a really, in a bad situation where like, honestly, your trip, it's going to negatively affect your trip if you are, if you say go to the parks and you're dehydrated or sunburned or, just something that anytime something happens and it's unexpected, it just helps to be prepared, So, and it's funny, we were talking about it and I was like, I haven't actually been to Disney World in the summer since I was like a teenager.
Oh, we avoid it.
Yeah, we try to avoid it. But we went in October thinking like, maybe it won't be so bad, but it was still like 90 degrees out most of the days. So honestly, a lot of this applies like for 8 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it does. Florida summers are long. Mm-hmm. We don't have seasons. So if you're coming from up north, just get ready for a lot of summer.
That's right. So first of all, one of the things that I think when people think of going to Disney World in the summer, and if you are hesitant about going, you probably think 2 things. Like, number 1, it's hot. Mm-hmm. Number 2, you think like it's probably really crowded because it's, it's summer break. People are out. Kids are off of school and stuff. And one thing is that actually summer's not really the busy season. And I mean, wintertime has always been like the Christmas season around like, basically between Thanksgiving and New Year's is basically the busiest time at Disney World. And, but summer's still been somewhat busy, but it's actually gotten less and less busy in the last few years. And I just put down here, like, there's a couple reasons for that. I think, number one is that, like we talked about with the weather, the heat's brutal. So people are going to try to avoid being there like in the peak of summertime. And then families are more likely to take vacations during the school year, more so now than, especially like when we were growing up, and then take like COVID. Since COVID, I feel like there's a lot more, families are a lot more into kind of being flexible about when they're taking vacations.
There's a lot more homeschooling too.
Yeah.
A lot more homeschooling, which is basically how we go throughout the year, because we usually plan the kids' curriculum around that. So if we want to go in October, usually we try to go in like February, early March. We try to avoid spring break, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like to go, well, what we used to consider the off season. I mean, it seems like it's, like you were saying, it's kind of doing a flip flop, judging by the wait times we were looking at earlier too. So
yeah. So summer's like not too busy. I mean, it can definitely, I'm sure you're still going to have crowded days.
Yeah.
But it's probably less than what people assume it is. And then the other thing I thought of is like, just, not to get too into the weeds here, but like people are having less kids.
Yeah.
And so that means that there's more people going to the parks without kids, and they're more flexible with their schedules because it's not all around schooling, So that is probably part of it as well. The other thing is Disney has purposefully spread demand out. So I know that a few years ago they switched to date-based tickets, and you'll notice that if you book at a time where it's not usually busy, it's cheaper. And if you book during that like peak season, if you try to book a trip during, Christmas time, it's gonna be a lot more expensive, not just with hotels, but with tickets too. And so they do that, obviously they do that on purpose, but they're trying to spread demand out, so that it's so expensive in December, so that, the people who are on the fence about going are going to go, okay, like this is too expensive. We'll go another time. And then like we were talking about with the discount tickets for Florida residents, it's like they're using those opportunities to get people off the fence, with cheaper tickets in what's typically the off season. And then, I always thought like, okay, I bet it's really slow. Cause actually when I was growing up as a kid, it was, if you went to the theme parks in January and February, it was really slow. But now, like, there's especially at Disney World, there's some kind of special event like almost every weekend in January and February. So you've got like Run Disney, you've got cheerleading competitions, all kinds of stuff. So they try to, again, they're trying to spread demand out so that so that they can kind of fill the park and in the times where it's usually been slow, and then take some of the demand off the really, really busy times. Yeah,
and going back to what you said, that like Disney's trying to spread out the demand too. We are all about, well, we don't do it so much anymore, but I used to be addicted to crowd calendars.
Yeah.
And I would do the crowd calendar thing. Like I'd be sitting there looking at it like, oh man, it says, August, the second week of August. It's like, it's yellow instead of red. So let's try to go then. But maybe a lot of people have caught on to that too. And I also wonder about foreign travel, like with just everything that's going on and things like that, because you would go there and see a lot of people from other countries and things like that. So I'm wondering how much of that has maybe, shifted as well.
Yeah. I think there was one of the shareholder reports came out and said that, there was a hit to the domestic parks, but it was almost all international.
Yeah.
And they said that actually if just counting domestic attendance, like people traveling from within the United States to go to the parks, that it would be up, but taking into account international travel was down. I know that there's certain like there's a certain week where people from where Brazil, a lot of people from Brazil come to the parks. And then there's like around Mardi Gras, people from Louisiana come, nobody else is really celebrating Mardi Gras. So yeah, it's just, there's different groups coming all the time for different reasons. So, and I guess the one thing, like another thing to take out of this is just, there's not really a slow season anymore.
Yeah.
So don't ever go expecting to be like, I bet there's nobody there. There's probably going to be, you're going to wait. You're going to still wait,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Utilize those lightning lanes, I guess.
Yeah. And then the last thing, just there's better information out now. So you've got internet, you've got social media, like on podcasts like this one, right? Where there's just a lot more information. And, you know, like your wife is a travel planner.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that you guys are familiar with like how much information like she's passing along to her clients and stuff, you know? So, yeah, so it's just easier for now people to figure out, okay, this is the best time for me to go.
Yeah.
And rather than picking a random week in the summer. But all that to say, it's not as crowded as you might think initially, but you still may have some crowds to deal with. So a couple of things, we're going to just do a quick breakdown of like some things to expect. So first of all, prices. So they're going to vary throughout the summer. The beginning of the summer is actually going to be a little bit more expensive, closer to that kind of like peak pricing. By the end of August, once everybody's gone back to school, then you'll see those prices dip again.
Yeah.
Actually, like the beginning of September is the lowest prices you'll see. So a lot of times when we talk about like if you ever go look at tickets, it'll say, you know, starting at, you know, this would be like a 1-day ticket starting at $115, and you're like, oh, that's not bad. And then you click on the day that you want to go, and it's like $180. You're like, what the heck? It's that day in September is the $115 or whatever. So, and then we just talked about crowds. June, July, it's kind of average. And then July, it starts to slow down. End of August into September, you're going to have lighter crowds for the most part. Like we said, nothing is written in stone at this point.
Yeah.
But, and then just in general for weather, it's going to be hot. It's going to be really, really hot. Like don't expect to be like, oh, there was one day that was cool. Like, no, it's going to be in the 90s. The heat index will be in like 3 digits.
Yeah.
So it's super hot. Now, the only thing I will say is like, you know, once you get into August and September, June and July, you might have like, it's going to be hot in the morning and then you probably have like a breeze in the afternoon. So that'll kind of help. Some days in August and September, it gets so sweltering and there's like no breeze.
Well, yeah, because Disney is well inland. I mean, like central Florida.
They purposely put it away from the coast so that, you know, you wouldn't have to worry about hurricanes, but because of that, there's no sea breeze. It's just...
Yeah, you don't get that ocean breeze. And then, like you were talking about with the humidity, like we do get, you know, we're going to talk about the showers, things like that. It is almost... I plan on an afternoon shower almost every day we're there. Does it happen? No, but afternoon showers are a very, very common thing. And you would think, okay, the rain will cool things down. There's so much concrete around there. It rains and then it starts to evaporate and then the humidity spikes.
Yeah.
It gets just like you will feel like you just rode Splash Mountain or Tiana's Bayou Adventure and you're just standing around.
Yeah, it's like being it's like being like cooked alive. It's like being steamed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're like in a steam room or like in a pot of boiling water.
Not to deter you from going, just be prepared.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, basically if it rains and then the sun comes back out, it can get worse for sure. And then hurricane season is June 1st to November 30th. Just something to know if you are not from Florida that, you know, as someone who's lived in Florida all my life, I just know like that's hurricane season. We're all kind of on like certain levels of alertness about it, you know, throughout the season.
It does take a lot for Disney to shut down though. Like they will not shut down unless there is an imminent like threat.
Basically unless they're getting a direct hit.
Yeah.
But, you know, something to know like if you're traveling, that can mess up kind of your travel days and stuff. Kind of the time that you really want to be careful is end of August, September. That's usually kind of the peak of hurricane season, at least on the Atlantic side.
Yeah.
So just watch out there. And now if you are there during a storm, it's honestly it's probably one of the safest places you can be during a hurricane. So it'll definitely change your plans as far as like, oh, I thought we were going to go to, a park every day this time. And
well, people used to do up here when we would storms would be coming to the Panhandle. Everyone would go on a evacation.
Yeah.
And they'd go to Disney.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. It's funny living up here. And if there's a hurricane on the East Coast, then they'll come up here. And then if there's one over here, it's like, yeah, let's head over to Orlando.
There's just nothing to do up here. So sorry if that was your plan, you're going to be bored.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to the beach, but.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But they got beaches down there too. So.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about things going on this summer. So the big kind of overall event is Cool Kids Summer. This lasts from May 26th to September 8th. And this is what they say. It says, seize the summer with some of your favorite characters across Walt Disney World Resort, where the whole family can feel like kids together. And really what this is Disney's giving families spaces in the parks or times in the park to kind of like have that chill moment where it's not just standing in lines for rides and, trying to find a spot for fireworks or whatever. So in every park, there's somewhere where they're doing something with characters. It's usually air conditioned. It's usually an air conditioned space. So especially if you have little kids and that like they're not going to be able to last all day out in the heat. This is something really good to take advantage of. So I'm going to go just through a couple of them. So the first one in Magic Kingdom, they are having their Cool Kids Summer show is called Jesse's Roundup, a Rip Roarin' Review. And it says, this summer, mosey over to the Diamond Horseshoe in Magic Kingdom Park for a Toy Story-inspired hoedown. Full of family fun. Join Jesse, Woody, Bullseye, and their pals for a Rip Roarin' Roundup, packed with singing, dancing, games, and other playful activities. So if you've ever been to the Diamond Horseshoe in Magic Kingdom, it's like right between Liberty Square and Frontierland. I think usually it's been used as a restaurant for the last few years, but they're going to have like a stage show involving these characters, and notice it says like there's also games and activities and stuff. I know that some of these places they have like literally like crafts and things like that.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So I think, and the one thing I think is cool about this is the fact that Diamond Horseshoe used to be a show that you could go see. This goes all the way back to like Disneyland, where Disneyland had the Golden Horseshoe. And it was like that, I think, up until the 2000s when they stopped doing the kind of daily show. So this is kind of like, even though it's like Pixar characters, Toy Story characters, it's kind of like taking this venue back to its roots. So as someone who is probably not going to, this stuff is not for me, obviously, but I think it's cool that
you're not a cool kid.
I mean, I was at some point. I'm not anymore. So, but it is cool that they're taking this space that used to be, it was for any guest, and then it became like a restaurant space, and now it's back to being a guest space. I think that's cool. So, all right. Next thing is at Epcot, they've got Goofy Core, and this is in Communicore Hall. It says experience the wacky works of Goofy's game machine at Goofy Core in Communicore Hall this summer. Join DJ Dance Pants. Oh, I love DJ Dance Pants.
All right.
DJ Dance Pants and the Goof Troop. Yeah, I remember them from the 90s. Yeah. As they help Goofy lead the fun with zany activities such as Goofy Says, Balloon Bonanza, Parachutes, and Pipsqueaks. Again, obviously, this is like for young kids, like games. And,
it's in the air conditioning, so I'll enjoy it.
The big thing is air conditioning. I talked about earlier, these other two we talked about earlier, that the Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live is opening May 26th. So that's kind of the big offering for Hollywood Studios. And I imagine that's going to last much longer. I think that's kind of the permanent show for Hollywood Studios.
The only thing that I don't like about that one is you go in and they force you to sit down, but you just have to sit on like the hard floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you go in there and it's like crisscross applesauce or whatever. You go in there, like find a spot and you sit down, and then the kids will jump up and they dance and they sing but all the adults, you're sitting there and it's a little, I don't know. I don't know if you can bring like a little pad with you, but yeah, man, it's great for the kids and it's fun to watch as a parent, but it's uncomfortable. Just to let you know. Bring a pillow.
Again, yeah.
Sit on your backpack.
Again, these are definitely like aimed for a certain
Yeah.
age group. So
Definitely.
yeah. And then again at Animal Kingdom, that Bluey's Wild World at Conservation Station, same thing. And again, they are gonna have animals native to Bluey's home country of Australia. And then if you're staying at one of the resorts, there's different things that they are that they have at the resorts for younger kids as well. So scheduled character appearances at select hotels. It looks like it's happening at Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach Resort, Pop Century, and Port Orleans. So obviously, like the resorts like Art of Animation, that one's very like kid-centric resort. It has all the has like the cars.
Yeah. And the really good themed rooms too.
Yeah.
Lion King and Little Mermaid, I believe.
Yeah. So obviously this one is like they're again very much geared towards those younger kids.
Disney, the Caribbean Beach Resort is probably so far my favorite, but mainly the theming is awesome, but mainly because it's got the hub right there for the Skyliner.
Yeah.
So it's the main hub too. So and there's a Joffrey's right at the base of it. So you get some coffee and then you get to ride the Skyliner. It's awesome.
Yeah. That's been one on my list that I wanted to stay at, but haven't gotten there yet. And then we already talked about some of the new attractions that are opening later this summer. The Magic of Disney Animation is going to open at Hollywood Studios, and that's replacing Star Wars Launch Bay. There's going to be some interactive areas there. There's also going to be an indoor playground. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
The playground is actually going to be, it's inspired by Alice in Wonderland and specifically inspired by the artwork of Mary Blair, who's like a Disney legend. If you've ever been inside the Contemporary, there's the big column in the middle of the concourse with the painting. She painted that. Okay. She designed all the did all the painting and artwork for It's a Small World. So it's going to be in that style, whatever that playground is going to look like. And then there's going to be meet and greets, things like that.
Hey, don't forget to get the free water park admission.
Yeah, that's right.
So we take advantage of this every time, and if you plan it right, and with us having the season pass is the weekday thing, sometimes we'll split check-in days. If you stay at two different resorts, it does count as two different check-in days, and you can take advantage of this multiple times if you don't mind switching rooms. But on your check-in day, you do get free admission to one of the water parks there, either Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon. Blizzard Beach is our favorite by far, but that is an awesome. Now, it is check-in day, so you're going to have to get there. If you really want to take advantage of it, you're going to have to get there early on check-in day. But sometimes what we'll do is we'll stay off property, like we're doing this time. We'll stay off property like Saturday, and then that way we're just like 15 or 20 minutes away. We'll go straight to the water park that morning, and as long as you're in the system, boom, you get in.
Yeah.
So
I think that they kind of gave this. I remember they did this benefit last year, and I feel like they didn't think it was going to be that big of a hit.
It's huge.
And and people were like, you're going to give us something for free, we're going to do it.
Yeah, and I think he even got a round of golf with one of them or two. We
really?
played Fantasia mini golf a couple times for free. So
I know that for a long time after COVID, they hadn't opened both water parks at the same time for a while. And then last summer they realized and I think it was only because of this special that they were like, we have to have both parks open. Yeah. Because people were using this benefit.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's actually the same dates. I looked at it. I think it ends like September 8th is the last. So as long as you are checking into your resort on or before September 8th, then you get that free water park day on your check-in day. So, and then, Epcot doesn't have a summer festival, and I can completely understand why. Because, like, you don't want to be waiting in line for, like, a pot roast, like at a festival booth in July. But there's a little bit of overlap. So the Flower and Garden Festival ends June 1st, and then Food and Wine starts August 27th. So a little bit of overlap with the summer, but there's not like a summer-centric festival for Epcot. And yeah, like I said, I think for good reason. It's just too hot to have a festival like that.
We go to the first park on June 1st. That's why we just decided to go there. That's Monday. So we're going there just so we can we can partake in the flower and garden.
Getting some of the scraps, the
Yeah.
leftovers.
Now, yeah, right. But I'm not like a huge like the topiaries and stuff that they bring out are pretty cool. I'm not like a flower and garden guy, but I do like the different food options that they bring out during these different festivals and stuff like that. So that's what I'm most excited about. We've got a list of all the different food we want to try already. We're just gonna have to get it in real fast because it's just we're only gonna be there that one day. So
yeah. All right, we're going to talk about this point. We're going to talk about just the weather and being prepared for the heat and making sure that you're doing as much as you can to have a good time. Because, you know, if you go somewhere like Disney World or really anywhere, any kind of travel, you want to be comfortable. And when you're not comfortable, it can like ruin your trip. So just some things to think about, you know, packing. First of all, you want to wear comfortable clothes, of course. Like you don't want to wear jeans or anything heavy. You know, you want to wear like, honestly, like athletic wear is probably the best.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something that you should expect to sweat, right? So, you know, t-shirts, anything that's like moisture wicking is probably a good way to go. Good shoes, which again is like something that you would do anyways, but you still want to wear good shoes. Honestly, like even though it's hot, you probably don't want to wear something like flip-flops.
Flip-flop, no, they're not comfortable enough. And then I know you got on here extra socks, and that's good because your feet will get sweaty. But not only that, but like if you're at Animal Kingdom and you're riding any one of the water rides or any of the
River Rapids.
Kali River Rapids or any one of the water rides, and your shoes and your socks get soaked, you're going to be just miserable anyway. So extra socks always a great idea.
Yeah. And then of course, like protect yourself from the sun. So sunscreen, hat, sun umbrella. Like I've definitely seen more people carrying around umbrellas for the sun and not for the rain, you know? So that might be helpful for you, especially if you have younger kids. Like you got to think about covering them up, making sure that they're not getting too exposed to the sun. You know, water is very, very important to be drinking water, staying hydrated. I like to bring a refillable water bottle, like a hydro flask or whatever. You can also get free water from the quick service restaurants. So that's always available to you. You definitely want to take advantage of that in some way and save money because of course bottled water is going to be really
very
expensive.
Yeah.
So
also, Disney does not have a lot of water fountains. The only water fountains that you'll find are generally right near the bathrooms.
Yeah. And they don't have a lot of, there's only a few like water bottle filling stations.
Yeah.
Now you can, if you're bringing a water bottle though, you can again go get ice water and just dump it in your bottle. That's usually, honestly, like one of the best spots is like, is it Connections Eatery in Epcot? Because they have the fountain sodas, but you can, if you've got a water bottle, you can just go in and fill up your water bottle. So yeah, definitely make sure that you're drinking water. Electrolyte packs are that'll kind of help with staying hydrated. And then I guess the other thing is like a lot of people, which I didn't know this until recently, that like people who are from out of town, they don't like the tap water. They don't like the way the water tastes at Disney. I had no idea because I'm born and raised in the swamps of Florida, so it didn't bother me. So if you're wanting to just keep that in mind, you can do like bring your own filter water bottle or flavored packs or whatever.
Also, like every park has a Starbucks in it, and Starbucks does serve filtered water. Now, generally you have to purchase another type of beverage with it, but you can get like a venti ice water and dump it in there. Sometimes they'll refill your thing for you, but they do serve filtered water. Yeah,
they've got whatever, like they filter it again, I guess. Like, if you're drinking a water fountain at Magic Kingdom or whatever, it's filtered in the way that like it's treated.
Like your refrigerator water.
It's treated. Yeah. It's clean. It's technically clean.
It's not going to kill you, but
So, and then there's other things like cooling towels, fans, snacks. Like you want to, I know like everybody's talking about protein, right? Your protein intake, but it is important. It's like important that you're not just
bring
eating.
some apples.
Yeah, apples,
grapes,
fruits, vegetables, like protein bars, things like that. Just so that you're you know, if you're only eating cheeseburger, spring rolls, and churros,
you're gonna get sluggish.
Yeah, it's not gonna be.
Well, plus it's gonna save you a lot of money.
Yeah, and then just be prepared for it to rain at some point. So whether that's bringing a poncho, an umbrella, a rain jacket, it's gonna rain at some point.
Yeah.
Like just expect that every day it will rain.
Yeah.
Maybe for an hour. Doesn't mean the whole trip it's going to rain, but just be prepared because it's going to happen. Let's see. So I was just going to say, like, maybe start with you, Bruce. Like, is there anything that you specifically like to bring, or like what you guys do to be kind of prepared?
We touched on a lot of it. So some of my tips would be obviously portable fans. We just purchased a couple that we've seen a couple other vloggers and stuff use. It's the first time we've ever brought portable fans. A long time ago, they have those novelty ones, like the big, you fill them with water.
Yeah.
And they've got the foam fans, and you can mist yourself. They're okay, but they're huge. They're cumbersome. You have to refill them with water. It's kind of a nightmare. So we bought these little portable ones. They look like little turbo torches or something. But man, do they put out some air. So I'm really excited to use those. It'll be the first time I've ever brought like a little portable fan, but it is super, super small, but it puts out a lot of air. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Another thing that, again, my wife's a travel agent, so she always reminds me of these things. But from May 31st to July 31st at the restaurant Marrakesh at Epcot, they do have a AP lounge for pass holders. Nothing fancy there, but they do serve water. They have free water, a couple of free snacks, usually like granola bars and things like that, and it's air conditioned, so you can always take a nice little. It's a guaranteed little, kind of out of the way, not super crowded spot to get out of the heat for a minute.
Yeah, especially if it's limited to pass holders.
Yeah.
It's probably you're gonna be able to find a place to sit down and chill for a little bit.
Again, we talked about clothes. I prefer to wear shorts. I do not wear like athletic clothing.
Yeah.
At all. Like in my normal life, when I go to Disney World, I'm like Adidas shorts.
Yeah.
All that, man.
Yeah.
Like I do it up. It's super tourist mode because it's comfortable and it's going to keep me from burning alive. And then recently we got that new Skechers store here. So we went there the other day, and we almost every time we go, we always look at our shoes and see like where we're at and do we need to get some new ones. I went to Skechers the other day and found these Go Walks, and I love them. They're super padded, and when you're walking, they're like designed to kind of like propel you a little bit.
Yeah.
Game changer. I think it's going to be a game changer. One of my biggest tips, something I've done a lot of times, especially when we were staying at like I was saying, the oh my gosh, what resort was I saying earlier? The
Caribbean Beach.
The Caribbean Beach with the hub. If you're at Epcot or you're at Hollywood Studios, get on the Skyliner. Go back to your room.
Yeah.
Take a nap in the middle of the day. Take a shower. Like just chill. Go hang out by the pool. I mean, if you're a 10-minute Skyliner ride away from your room, go back and chill for a little bit. Rest your feet. Recharge. That's super big thing. I'm going to skip this next one because that's
fine.
Yeah. My wife really wanted me to talk about chafing sticks. I don't want to talk about it. She says it's very important though. So
do what you got to do about that.
Talk to her about that. I don't want to talk. Sunblock, like you said, bring the sunblock. It is the sun is brutal, and you will. Even when it's overcast, you think you're safe. You're not safe. Wear sunblock. Pay attention to the weather apps, heat advisories, rain. Animal Kingdom is actually one of the hottest parks due to the foliage there. Like you would think, we talked about this. It's one of the most shaded parks, but also because of all those plants, it is like super humid. So in addition to the rain and the heat, like especially if you're at one of like a park like that. Really pay attention to whatever your weather app you're using, and water. I won't say it enough. Keep hydrated.
Yeah.
I'm spend most of my life dehydrated, which is a horrible way to be. But if you're at Disney World,
because we grew up in the 90s. Like I don't remember drinking water before I was like 15.
No, but it is super important. I've seen too many people pass out. Like literally, I mean, I can't tell you how many. Every trip we go to, someone's passing out, whether it's someone in our party or someone else. It's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, some of my tips. So first of all, I like to pack light. That's for me in general. So when I go to the parks, I like to have like a crossbody bag, and like I try to keep it to that. If I have to bring a backpack, like I have a backpack that I use for work, and then I have like one that I use for the parks, which is much smaller because it's just you don't want to overpack. You don't want to like put too much weight on yourself. I understand if you have like, you're a family with small kids, you got to carry around other stuff. I would say just like try to think about what's essential, but don't overpack. Basically. My go-to shoes, and this might not work for everybody, but again, I guess the new dad shoes, right, are Vans, like the Vans. I'm literally wearing them right now.
Me too.
I found a pair of Vans that I like wearing for the parks because they have enough cushion. They're not necessarily like running shoes; they're like walking shoes. But the Vans Ultra Range are my go-to shoes.
I need to check those out.
The other thing about them is that they have like they're rubberized around. You have the bottom, the sole, right? But they've got rubber that goes up to like another half inch or so, and so if it rains and you're like walking through puddles, like your feet stay dry.
That's awesome.
So I really like those. And then, we already touched on like kind of the extra things to bring. Cooling towels are another thing that we found helpful. Basically, they have some kind of, I don't know how it works, but you get them wet and they stay cool. They keep you cool. You just wrap them around your neck. You're going to have like water stains on your your shirt's going to be a little wet, but that's going to happen anyways with sweat. Yeah. And then kind of like how you were talking about with like taking a break in the middle of the day. So I always like to focus on like those more popular rides in the morning. I like to get there early. It's going to be a little bit cooler in the morning, but to be honest, not that much cooler.
No.
Like by 9 o'clock, it's already going to be, in the high 80s, most likely. Those outdoor rides, like do the outdoor rides at night, because that way you're not like out in the sun. And then I said like, in the middle of the day, I focus on indoor shows and vibes. So just like taking it slow, like use all your energy for that morning, and then take that middle of the day to kind of slow it down a little bit, get inside, take some breaks, maybe do a sit down meal for lunch. And then when the sun starts to go down, you kind of can ramp it up a little bit more. I'm somebody who likes to go like, from open to close. Not everybody can do that. But if you think about the animals on the safari, if you go on the safari at Kilimanjaro Safari, they're more active in the morning because it's cooler. And then you might be able to see them actually like right before sunset when they're like almost ready to go to bed. It's kind of the same thing. Like you don't want to be out in the middle of the day. You need to slow down and conserve your energy. So, yeah. All right. I know we're kind of getting long here, but we'll kind of go through each park here and talk about like where's the best spots for you to cool down. What do you need to know about, how much can you expect how hot are you going to be while you're there? So let's start with Magic Kingdom. So pros about Magic Kingdom, you've got a lot of indoor rides. There's a lot of indoor shows, and most of them you don't have to wait for. So I'm thinking things like Carousel of Progress, Hall of Presidents, Tiki Room.
The laugh floor usually doesn't have that long of a wait either.
Laugh floor is another one.
And you get a laugh.
Yeah. Country Bears. Honestly, they redid Country Bear Musical Jamboree a couple years ago. It's really good. Like, I'm a grown man, and I like the Country Bears.
I might check it out again.
Yeah. It's funny. They've updated it with more like, modern Disney songs, so your kids will probably know them. So yeah, that's a good place. Like again, in the middle of the day, like go check out some of the shows. Cons for this ride or for this park, even though there's a lot of indoor rides, there's a lot of outdoor rides too. Magic Kingdom has the most amount of rides, but they are that mix. Kind of your standard, the traditional Disney Castle Park has a lot of like things like Dumbo and the carousel and stuff. So if you're waiting in line for those, it's going to be hot. So just be aware of that. The other thing is, Rivers of America is gone. And not only is there construction, right, but that area of the park is probably just going to feel hotter at this point because you've got a lot of the shade that's gone for now. All the water's gone for now. I do think that's going to change when everything reopens as Piston Peak, because there's supposed to be a lot of like waterfalls and streams and stuff, and a lot of that moving water is going to create kind of a cooling effect for the area. But for now, it's just a big open dirt pit or big open construction site. And this park just feels crowded all the time.
Yeah, it is.
So more people, it might not actually make it hotter, but you're going to feel hotter. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely, body heat. There's a lot of body heat. You're elbow to elbow with everyone all the time.
Yep. And then other things to remember, there's 2 splash areas. You've got the Leaky Tiki's in Adventureland, and then the Casey Jr. Soak Station in Storybrooke Circus, right outside the train station. And, that's more like your traditional kind of, not traditional, but like a splash pad, the Casey Jr. one. And then you've got out water rides like Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise you don't really get wet on.
Yeah.
But Tiana's Bayou Adventure, of course, like if you don't mind walking around a little bit wet for the day and you need that for a cool down, you'll definitely get wet there. So, and then I'm not going to list all of them because there's too many. There's a lot of the other thing about a park with a lot of outdoor rides is thunderstorms. Those rides are going to shut down, so just be aware of that. Like if there's lightning in the area, which in the summertime there's a lot of lightning, so just be aware those rides are going to shut down.
I mentioned this before though, but sometimes you use that to your advantage. You're in a quick service restaurant, you see the line just magically is gone because there's lightning within like 5 miles, I think.
Yeah.
As soon as that's lifted, make a beeline because you will get on that ride quick.
Yep. Actually, one thing, I thought of this earlier. So I noticed when I was at the park in February, usually the railroad shuts down early, like it shuts down at sunset. And the reason they've done that is because, the train goes around the park. The back of the parks, they launch most of the fireworks behind the park. And so they shut that area down, because it's the fallout area. Right now, because of all the construction, the railroad's running in shuttle mode. So it's running back and forth between Main Street and Fantasyland. So when I was there, I was waiting for the night parade and the train was running. I was like, why is the train running right now? And I guess it's because they can keep it running because it's not going to the back of the park right now. So if you're in the park and you need like that kind of like cool down, that's, like getting some breeze, getting moving, trains might be a good idea.
I did not know that train went backwards.
I mean, I think any train can run backwards.
Oh yeah, but I've never seen that.
No, it's weird to see that they like pull in. You'll see it pull into the station and then they pull back out and go backwards. It's wild. So that's going to be like that for a couple years, honestly. Let's talk about Epcot now. I think Epcot is the best park for the summertime because there is so much indoor space.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's things like the Land Pavilion, the Seas Pavilion that has the aquarium in it.
Yeah.
The Communicore Hall where Goofy Core is going to be. These are spaces where you don't have to wait in line to get in there. You're not waiting for a show. They're just open spaces.
Yeah.
And some of them have exhibits in it, things like the aquarium. There's exhibits all over the World Showcase. There's the Circle Vision stuff in the World Showcase. There's a lot of places where you can just, if you're hot and you're like, I just need to sit down in the AC, there's a lot of places to go and you can find an open spot. Mm-hmm. So even like, again, like Connections, the quick service in the, I forget what it's called now. Used to be Future World, but the main area hub of Epcot. That's a huge restaurant. Yeah. And it's not hard to find a table there most of the time. So that's what I think. And then you have mostly indoor rides. So those are the good things. The cons, it's a large park, so there's a lot of walking. So you got to make sure, like, again, talking about, I don't want to go too much into chafing, but big chafing opportunity here, walking around World Showcase.
Because again, it really depends what your goal is at Epcot. If you're an adult and you're going there to walk around the world or stumble around the world, you're going to do a lot of walking. You're going to spend a lot of time outdoors. My favorite thing to do is I love to go to Mexico, and the Three Caballeros ride is one of my all-time favorites, and it is probably one of the, I don't want to say the coldest ride, but when I'm so comfortable in there.
Yeah.
Like the boat ride's relaxing because they got the restaurant in there, and so when you take off from the boat and you're going around and they got the volcano in the back and the people are
it's very cool.
And the air conditioned, dude, it is just like a whole nother level experience for me.
Yeah, and that ride rarely ever has a line, and that's
rarely, yes,
and that's the great thing about Epcot is, are all the rides like e-tickets? Are they all like home runs? No, they're not. But they serve a purpose, and you don't have to wait. Like you don't have to wait in line for them. They're indoors, and then even the rides like Soarin', that's a completely indoor queue. I know Guardians, most likely you're going to be waiting outside at probably about 15 minutes, but then you get inside, it's not so bad. There's a lot of rides that you don't have to wait outside for. Spaceship Earth, unfortunately, you do. Most of the time you're in the shade, but that is one you'll have to watch out for. So just a couple things, like there's so many shows, not all of them are the best, right? But you've got things like the American Adventure, Awesome Planet, which is that's a film in the Land Pavilion, the Canada film, there's one in France. So these are places that are like, there's no wait for them. You just go and sit down and chill. And then Turtle Talk with Crush, that's another one. There's just so many things that are indoors.
Yeah.
Now, are they all like, I can't wait to go to Disney World so I can see the 360 China film? Probably not, but like, but it's a good place to take a break, And then there's also the Journey of Water, inspired by Moana. That's up near the front of the park. That's also a great place to cool down. Have you been inside that yet?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
A lot of mist.
Yeah. There's the jumping fountains, kind of like the ones that are in front of the Imagination.
Yeah. You can kind of choose your level of how wet you want to get through there.
Yeah, you could go in and like stay pretty dry, or you can go in and get like, if you want to get wet, you definitely can. So, and then the only ride that really goes down in bad weather is Test Track. Everything else is going to stay open. Yeah. So, all right, Hollywood Studios. So Hollywood Studios are pros here, mostly indoor rides. There's a good amount of shows. You got things like the new Villain show over next to Rock and Roller Coaster, the Little Mermaid show. Those are all indoors. One or two places you can go to cool down. And then that indoor playground is going to open at Magic of Disney Animation. I think that'll be huge.
Don't try to go to Indiana Jones thinking you're going to cool down, though. No. I tell you what, when those fires, the explosions go off, if it was 100 outside, it's going to feel like 200.
Yeah, and that one is all outdoors. I mean, it's covered, but it's still outdoors.
It's in the shade, but oh my God, it is hot.
Yeah. So and we can talk about cons. Like, there's not a lot of shade in this park at all. It feels very much like a concrete jungle. I think Toy Story Land is like the biggest offender here. There's like no shade in Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
It's so hot. And then even though there's a lot of indoor rides, almost all of them you're going to have to wait at some point, like outside,
Yeah. And they're all the indoor rides, they're pretty popular.
Yeah.
And so there are long waits anyways, except for like Star Tours never really, like, I don't know why. It's one of my favorite rides, and it's air conditioned too. But there's a little bit of a queue outside, but
it's all shaded though.
Yeah.
It's not too
but
bad.
I've never hardly ever have to wait outside. I don't know. It's never that long.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it can be like everything else is like over an hour, and Star Tours is like 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd say the worst offenders here is definitely got to be like Runaway Railway, because there's not a lot of queue space inside, so you end up waiting outside.
Slinky Dog is like, I think, well, it's 100% outside.
Yeah, Slinky Dog's brutal.
And I mean, you're usually, if you don't have lightning lanes, you're probably in for a good hour and a half at least.
Yeah.
Just standing in the heat.
Yeah, and just to hit on some of those indoor shows again, there's actually the Mickey short, the Vacation Fun.
I love that one. Yeah. It's good.
There's the Frozen sing-along, Little Mermaid show, the Villains show, and then that Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show. Again, that one, it's more, for toddlers, but if you got little kids.
The Frozen show is actually like they do sneak in some adult things, which
I've
I
heard
think
it's really funny.
It is very funny. I love going there because the actors that they have always like they always address the parents at some point, and it is really funny. And it's again, it's air conditioned, very comfortable, and they're very comfortable seats too.
Yeah, again, I have all boys, so I don't think there's any way we're going to that. But
yeah,
yeah. And then actually one thing I want to highlight is the that Walt Disney Presents. If you're like a nerd, if you're like a Disney nerd, it's kind of a hidden gem because I went in last time and you know it basically shows you some like it's an exhibit and it's got things from like early Walt Disney's early life and then like early Walt Disney history as far as the company goes. So there's like a mock-up of the multiplane camera.
Yeah.
They originally used for animation. Then there's a bunch of models, and these are like real models from like Epcot and the Tower of Terror. There's actually they've got some new models for things like Tropical Americas and Monsters Inc. Some of the new things that are getting built around Disney World. And then usually they either do like there's a theater there where they either show this like short documentary called One Man's Dream, and then they also like. When I was there, they were like showing clips from Percy Jackson, like the new TV show. Oh. So sometimes they use it to promote things there. But yeah, and then rides that shut down, Slinky Dog, mainly just Slinky Dog, Dash, and then some of the outdoor shows like Indiana Jones. I'm not sure. Maybe Beauty and the Beast would shut down. I'm not sure.
I think it would because you're still outside. You're under a big awning. It's. I mean, it's not near as big as Indiana Jones, but it's kind of like the same setup.
Gotcha.
Like but
yeah. And then Animal Kingdom, like we said, like it's a lot of people consider Animal Kingdom the hottest park, which is weird because it is so shaded. Yeah. It's like
it's got to be the humidity. I'm pretty sure it's the humidity. And there's a lot of water, and just a lot of plants.
I think that AC just trumps shade any day, especially in Florida.
100%. Shade is not a replacement for air conditioning in any way, shape, or form.
And it's it's just humidity. It's everywhere. So even when you're in the shade, it's not like if you go to a drier climate, you get in the shade, the temperature drops a lot quicker, but that humidity just stays in the air.
It's like being in a rainforest. It's a very tropical, subtropical environment. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah. The pros here, those walking trails are shaded, so it's something. There are a lot of water features, like streams and waterfalls, and I don't know if people like. There's psychologically cooling, but then there's also like when you have moving water, it gets that cool water into the air. It does cool you down a little bit. And then you've got Cali River Rapids is one of the only other like outdoor rides at Disney where you're going to get wet. I haven't been on this yet, but from what I've seen, you can get really, really wet.
So it's one of probably collectively one of my family's favorite rides at Animal Kingdom. It is for one, whether you get wet or not, it is super fun. But it is one of those things where, I think there's like two. Okay. I got to talk about this for a second because it's one of my biggest pet peeves of this ride. But so there's a couple of times on the ride where you're going, and there's this one slope where you go down. If your back is facing the water, you're gonna get soaked. If you're on the other side, your feet might get a little wet, but not too bad. There's another spot where like there's some like elephants that come up and like try to soak you. But when you get to the end, this is the worst part. When you're walking up to the queue, you go over this little bridge, and there's these like squirt guns, and you can wet the people that are waiting. Or as the ride's finishing up, they go under the bridge and you can just wet them.
Oh, like you're just sitting there like sitting ducks, basically.
Yes, and so if you get to like a little traffic jam, people can literally just sit there and just spray you, and it is obnoxious.
Oh my gosh!
So if you're one of those people, don't be. It's ridiculous, but it is kind of fun when you go through. If you're going through there kind of quick, and someone like ha ha ha, you get a little chuckle. But when you're sitting there and someone's just like, no.
So you could get through and like be on the right side of the raft and not hit that waterfall or whatever, right? But then stop and get soaked by somebody with a squirt gun.
Absolutely. I highly recommend a poncho on that ride.
Yeah. And again, I feel like getting wet it can be good. It can cool you down. But then if you stay wet, it can be.
I don't mind like my shirt getting wet, but if my shoes get wet,
Yeah.
it's miserable.
It's a different story. You know, you've got like some indoor rides, and right now, Animal Kingdom, there's just not a lot going on there because, Dino Land is closed. They're turning it into Tropical Americas. So there's a whole section of the park that's just under construction and not going to open for another year or so. So, honestly, like this isn't, to be honest, this is like not the year to do Animal Kingdom unless your family is like a big Bluey fan. Like there's big Bluey fans in your family. Mm-hmm. I think that's why they put Bluey here so that people would actually come here this summer. But like you've got Navi River Journey. It's an indoor ride, but you're going to wait like 45 minutes outside and the ride's like 3 minutes long. So, Flight of Passage, Flight of Passage is a lot longer. You're going to be inside a lot longer, but if you happen to be there when the wait is over an hour, you're going to be waiting outside. You do have the new Zootopia 3D show, Better Zoogether, that's in the Tree of Life 3D theater. So that's a good place to cool down. You probably don't have to worry about you didn't have to worry about like getting stung in the back or whatever when it was tough to be a bug. So they made it a little bit more family friendly.
Yeah.
So that's a good place. And then, there's like Conservation Station. But again, if you can get over there for now, at least, I'm sure after a while, it'll probably go back to standby, but you got to have a virtual queue now to get over to Conservation Station. There's only two indoor quick service restaurants, Satuli Canteen and Pizza Fari. I think it's good to know where those are because there's a lot of like walk up places, but sometimes you just need to sit and eat in the air conditioning. There's only two in Animal Kingdom.
I love Suli Canteen, by the way.
Oh man, I've got to try it. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, the food is, and the desserts are like really good too.
Yeah, so that might be a good place to hang out. And then if you've got inclement weather, most of the park is going to shut down. The only thing you have with some of those shows. Oh, I forgot about the other shows. You've got the Lion King show and the Finding Nemo show, Big Blue and Beyond, I think is what it's called. But if it's raining, or mainly if there's lightning in the area, Expedition Everest is going to shut down. Cali River Rapids, Kilimanjaro Safaris, that's all going to shut down. So, and then there's not a lot of outdoor space, so you're probably going to get wet trying to run for the exit here.
Yeah.
So I think the lesson here is beware with Animal Kingdom this summer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
that kind of covers. I mean, we covered a lot.
Yeah, that definitely was a lot. I think that one of the biggest takeaways is just make sure that you're dressed appropriately and that you have plenty of water, because it is, again, brutal is the right word to describe summer in Central Florida.
Yeah, and I think it is almost like, especially if you're looking at like late summer, September, it's kind of like high risk, high reward.
Yeah,
like it's going to be super hot, and you're going to have to like really be prepared for it. On the other hand, you might show up and there might not be a lot of people there. It might be, talking about paying less, less crowds, but it's going to be hot.
To your point earlier too, don't expect to go in October and it be cool.
Yeah.
Because our summer does extend well into October.
I mean, you could go in even November and December, you might go and it might be in the 80s at some point. Obviously, there's, it's going to get cooler throughout as you get closer to the wintertime. But it's hard to know. It's really like, well, I'll say outside of summer, it's really hard to know what's going to happen. Because you could be there in the fall and it could be really enjoyable and like comfortable, or it could be super hot. It could also be freezing.
Yeah. That being said, my two favorite times of year to go still are February and like September, October timeframe.
Yeah.
Those are our go-tos. We usually always, if we're going to plan trips, those are the timeframes that we try to go.
Yeah. February, I like February. Last time I was there, I just happened to be there on literally the coldest day of the year. And a bunch of foliage and trees and stuff and landscaping died while I was there because it was so cold, and on like all these like palm trees and stuff like the are all dead. So,
was it like a falling iguanas temperature?
Yeah, definitely. Now I don't think there's falling iguanas in Disney.
No. But you know what I'm talking. Central Florida,
Florida,
they have the cold gauge, and if the lizards and iguanas start falling out of the trees in South Florida, then it's time to bundle up.
Yeah, we were way beyond the iguana line.
Oh man.
So, all
right. Right.
Yeah, and I guess like I was looking at this, I'm like, this is basically just planning for your trip here because you guys are about to. Bring the heat.
I'm pretty excited. I'll let you know because I mean this is the first time. So the last time that we went was for my daughter's 10th birthday. The reason that we are going back in June, which we usually avoid like the plague, is because it is her birthday. So she's turning 13. This is what she wanted to do. So we're making the ultimate sacrifice of burning alive.
Yeah.
For her enjoyment. So you're welcome.
Yeah, hopefully you can do the same if you're planning to head out there this summer. Yeah. So, all right.
Well, that's it. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Park Mapping, and check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I'm still trying to get our video uploaded on Spotify. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm not as tech savvy as I thought, but hopefully you'll be able to watch us on Spotify soon as well. Yeah. So. But other than that, thanks for watching.
Thanks a lot. See you next time.